Hi guys, welcome back to S Chamberlain 5150's YouTube channel. Got Skinny Bagger up on the lift. Daytona is going to be here before we know it. March 7th, Hardcore Cycles throwing a show. Skinny Tire Bagger build off. This is my entry that I'm doing in it. 2003 Road Glide. Did a 2118. As far as I'm concerned, this is a stock motor, stock 88. I only rode the bike one time. I bought it, rode it one time, got stolen. Ruby. And so we're gonna do some cams in it tonight. After hours down at the shop, just trying to get this bike wrapped up for Daytona. We're gonna do some fueling cams. I think that's where I talk, and then I tell him to talk, but then I talk, and then he talks.
You don't want to give a redemption intro?
Oh, I already did an intro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
I see how it is. You're trying to steal my glory from my redemption intro.
Hey, this is Mark. But yeah, we're putting some cams in the 2003. There's many options you can do between doing a whole new cam plate or keeping on the 99 to 06s, they had a spring tensioner, or they have conversion plates or conversion cams. So this is a budget build, so we're kind of going a little bit in the budget route, at least for now. But Mark kind of suggested this for me.
So this is like it's a great way to get a better oiling system than what came stock on these bikes. Obviously, if your budget dictates it, we prefer to do a full fueling or a full S&S cam chest. But because we're trying to stay under a budget for the Skinny Tire bike, this is going to improve it a lot. It's going to be better than what was in there for sure, and allow us to get a bit better cam in there that's going to make a little more power, sound a little lopier, all that stuff. But basically, it's a special cam made by Fueling that has two. It's kind of like it's like an early cam and a late cam had a baby.
Yeah, it's like a half and half, because the motor bore, from what I understand, I'm not a twin cam expert, but the motor bore bearing in the back, was smaller on the earlier ones.
Yeah.
And then, where the cam plate was a different size.
Yeah, so the inboard cam bearing, which is this one, is smaller on the early models. And on the later models, it's a bigger bore bearing. So some people, when they're splitting cases, will actually bore their cases out to run that bigger bearing to run, just a complete new cam setup. But what this cam does is it has the inboard bearing size for the early model twin cam, and then it has the outboard oil bearing size that allows you to run the bearingless new plate out of a newer twin cam. So that way, it's just a little bit easier of an install. You don't have to replace any bearings, but you get the benefit of the better oil pump out of the newer model bikes. A little bit better oil pressure, a little bit better oil volume. So.
Yeah, and then one of the downsides to this is that the cam options aren't quite the same, between doing the 9906 cams or doing the 07 and up cams. With the conversion cams, a little bit less choice. But we went with the Fueling 525s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great bolt-in cam. You're not going to win any dyno numbers. You know what I mean? You're not going to be the most powerful bike, but it's going to wake it up. It's going to make a better bottom end, better top end. You know what I mean? And have a more aggressive sound for sure.
Yep. So we got the 07 and up cam plate and 07 and up oil pump. We did a new rear chain because we couldn't find one of these around here. And then got some gears out of this setup, the 525 cams, the push rod tubes for the adjustable push rods I bought used, and then some new fueling lifters, and then this reed valve, which I know nothing about.
I know nothing about it either. I bought this, 10, 12 years ago, and never used it.
So we found that in the toolbox, and since this is a budget bike, and we're just gonna put it in. We'll see what happens. So cool. We're gonna get up on this install, and hopefully get cams in it by the end of the night.
welcome to Baking with Steve's baking channel.
Oh, we're just going for clean, clean, clean.
Oh yeah? You mean you're actually gonna clean some parts before you put them in? Not just run it suicide motor style?
I get crap, but you know, my stuff runs.
Hey, my stuff runs too, okay? Now, it does. We're not gonna tell Steve, but we're gonna check his run out on his flywheels. It's amazing, Steve. I wasn't recording the whole time.
What?
It wasn't recording.
Oh. I guess you gotta redo it.
Yeah. So, Steve obviously caught us. We're measuring the flywheel run out right now. He asked me to just kind of explain what the flywheel run out is real quick. So, a flywheel run out is making sure that the center of this shaft is still spinning on the same center as it is back on the bearing back here, same as the center on the bearing on the other side of the engine. So you're just making sure that all of these points are in a line and you don't have any sort of wave or warble in those guys. And we already measured this, and it is honestly one of the best stock cranks I've ever seen in a twin cam. We've got maybe like 3.5 thou of run out on these flywheels, which is incredible. Especially, how many miles you see this thing had?
Like 40,000.
So 40,000 miles, this is now one of 7, I can say, with over 30,000 miles that I've seen that have good flywheels, at least run out wise. Do you want to pull the cylinders and pistons off and check to see if they're tight spots or anything, or?
Nah, suicide motor. We're just going cams for now. We'll figure it out later on.
But yeah, so the bottom end, at least from what we're doing, is good right now. So we're gonna go ahead and start pulling the rest of the bearings out and slapping some new cams in here.
Spring chain tensioners. Look at this. It's not run by oil. Springs.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of swapping to this other cam plate that's over here, is not only is he going to get some better oil pressure on oil volume, it also is going to run a hydraulic cam chain tensioner, which provides a more consistent tension on that cam chain so that you're not going to dig in. Because this one, there's no way this is the stock one from when it was new, but they get ate up pretty quick just because there's so much tension to keep all the, the slack out of the chain. Whereas these have a much better control over the tension of that chain without causing these to wear super quick, and then this steel portion will dig into the chain and then just sends motor or metal all through your motor, and no good things. So that's another nice benefit of running this cam conversion, cam conversion, is because we get to update it to the hydraulic cam chain tensioners for a budget price, essentially. So.
So we got everything all cleaned up. As you can see, all the thread holes have been chased, and did all this prior to installing this S&S reed valve and the oil pump, and which is all lubed up, ready to go. Got Mark over here. He's pre-assembling the cam plate, the rear chain, and everything. The little dots. Will it focus? Make sure the dots line up. Because if one of those is off, then the cam timing's off, and then valves hit pistons, and that's a bad day.
Very bad day.
Very bad day. So, lube, clean, everything super clean, super lubed.
Lube is your friend.
Yes.
Lube is your friend.
So, keep on continuing on this cam install, but everything's going good so far. I'm excited that I only had 3 thou run out. So. So what are you doing? There's no chain on there. How's it supposed to work?
It's a Bluetooth cam. It's this new kind of cam, you know. What we're doing is checking the chain offset. So this the rear cam has a spacer behind it, and they come in different sizes from 110 thou up to like I think 150 or 160, something like that. I've never had to use one that big, but what we're doing is making sure the center line of this chain or sprocket is perfectly in line with the center line of this one within 10 thou of each other, because that's how big each size spacer is. They come in 10 thou increments, so you just want to get it as close as you can to this, so that way the chain wears evenly and pulls evenly and doesn't have any like torques and stuff like that.
So just a little test fit, check it, change out the space where you need to, and then add the chain. All right, guys, we got the cam all wrapped up in the bike, the Fueling 525 conversion cam, 07 and up plate, and a couple other little goodies, the reed valve and, you know, the new style oil pump. It's not really a how-to video on it, so there's probably a million how-to videos on YouTube, but we are one day closer to Daytona. So, like I said in the beginning of the video, Destination Daytona, March 7th. Skinny bagger build off. Skinny tire bagger build off. So see you there. If you guys like this, like, comment, subscribe. Got a couple more things to do on this. I got an oil pan from Baker. It's a +1 oil pan. We're gonna put that in. I got the new axle locks from Bare Knuckle Paul. So we're gonna be putting those in. The primary has to come off and get a bunch of leaks all fixed up in it, and then we got to put the front drive sprocket for the chain conversion. So we'll do that soon, and then need to figure out work on the bags and side covers and front fender. So we're gonna keep on trucking.